Chapter 41 Domineering Rescue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This tiger roar wiped away the worries on the tiger mother's face, revealing a look of ecstasy. Taiwan Novel Network. The male tiger on the side scoffed, "What's the use of having a loud voice? Body shape and combat power are the signs of strength." Looking at the tiger mother with hope in her eyes, the male tiger also looked forward to it. It is looking forward to it. When he kills the tiger mother's original wife, will the queen of the jungle surrender to his power? Is this, the tiger mother's brother? That at this time, Cang Nian still didn't understand who the tiger mother was calling for help. Hearing the overbearing tiger roar, he guessed in his heart, because if it comes to him, even if he becomes an adult and his family is separated, if he hears tiger brother's cry for help, no matter what he is doing, he will definitely support him. At this moment, he only thought that tiger mother's brother could be more powerful, so if he teamed up with tiger mother, he should be able to deal with this male tiger, or at least force it back. And just when the tiger mother was looking forward to it, the male tiger was lustful, and the old man was guessing. There was a rustling sound from the bushes on the east side of the dense forest. Immediately, a huge figure sprang out, with anxious and angry eyes and breathing heavily. Ouch! Seeing this familiar figure, the tiger mother was ecstatic and trotted over to the figure, but the male tiger suddenly froze, and then instinctively took 2 steps back, his limbs trembling. Holy shit, so big? Is this a physique that can grow in the wild? Seeing the big guy coming in a hurry, Cang Nian was also stunned. As long as a male tiger kills itself, it is already considered a super-large wild Siberian tiger. It weighs close to 280 kilograms according to visual inspection. It is truly a tiger-level beast. The big guy that just appeared was a lot bigger than the male tiger at the beginning. The whole tiger looked like a small orange tank. It was breathing heavily from running wildly, making its shoulders rise and fall, making it even more muscular. Feeling of oppression. From a visual inspection, this big guy is probably weighing 320 kilograms. As for wild Siberian tigers, there seems to be no such large individuals recorded. Compared to the male tiger at the beginning, the two sides were not at the same level. It's no wonder that the smaller male tiger retreated instinctively just by seeing the opponent's figure before the fight started. Roar. When he saw tiger mother, the big guy with a majestic face suddenly smiled, but when he got closer he saw a few scratches on tiger mother's face, and he quickly asked, "Ouch." Hearing the big guy's question, the tiger mother turned around, looked at the male tiger who was about to retreat, and howled angrily, realizing that the male tiger in front of him not only beat his wife, but also wanted to kill his cubs. The big guy suddenly became angry. Ouch! A domineering tiger roar broke the male tiger's heart. It didn't dare to stop any longer and ran in the opposite direction. But despite the big size, the big guy is not bulky at all. The muscles all over his body are bulging and bulging, bursting out with terrifying power, and he pounces towards the male tiger like orange lightning. In just 3 steps and 2 strides, the big guy caught up with the frightened male tiger. His huge tiger paw was like a cattail fan, and he slapped it down with 1 claw. Bang! Click! Immediately, a muffled sound was followed by a crisp sound. Ouch! The male tiger trying to escape let out a heartrending cry, and with just such a palm, its spine was broken. Then, the big guy relented and slapped the male tiger on the forehead with 1 claw after another, making a loud clang, venting the anger in his heart. "You're just a weakling, but you dare to steal my wife and kill my Zai. There are really no tigers in the mountains, and the monkey is the king." Although the guy under the claws is also a tiger, for the big guy, it is no different from a monkey when it comes to killing. Even for it, killing a monkey is more difficult than killing a male tiger. After all, the big guy is too big and not very agile in the trees, so it is really difficult to catch monkeys. In less than half a minute, the big guy landed on the male tiger's head with more than 10 claws in succession. The male tiger's head was suddenly bloody, with red and white inside seeping out from its 7 orifices. It was already dead. This is a pure crushing game. Maybe my uncle is also an evolved creature. Cang Nian, who witnessed all this, couldn't help but marvel. He still hasn't associated the big guy in front of him with the word father. but when the big guy saw that the male tiger was dead, he stopped caring. The next second, it turned around and came to the tiger mother. The majesty and domineering expression on its face disappeared, leaving only flattery. Ouch. Wife. How about your husband and me? Is it powerful? Ouch. Seeing this, tiger mother rolled her eyes angrily. It's coming too slowly. The tiger mother will not praise the big guy. She is very familiar with the big guy and knows that if you praise the guy will go to heaven. Ouch. Hearing the tiger mother's cry of dissatisfaction, the big guy suddenly shrank and defended aggrievedly. I'm already very fast. It's just that the previous location was too far. You don't let me get too close. Ouch. I'm afraid that if you're not serious, you'll hurt Zai Zai. The tiger mother growled dissatisfied. For a female tiger who wants to raise cubs, her male mate is an unstable factor, so after the other party leaves the seed, he will be driven away, and the female tiger will give birth alone and raise the cubs alone. Only when the female tiger is very confident in her mate will she wait until the cubs are 3 months old and have a high demand for meat, and then call the male tiger to raise the cubs together, but even so, the male tiger will at most give the food he hunts to the female tiger, and then quietly leave, and rarely show up in front of the cubs. Ao. Hearing this, everyone got excited. Where are the cubs? Let me see. This is the first time for the tiger mother to be a mother, and the big guy is also the first time to be a father. It is very curious about the little tiger cub. If the tiger mother didn't stop it, it would have wanted to watch the cubs being born. Ao. Come with me. Hearing the big guy's request, the tiger mother hesitated for a moment, and then agreed. Although the 2 cubs are only 20 days old, they are already very strong and not so fragile. Although tiger mom said she didn't care about the big guy's performance today, she was very satisfied in her heart. After saying that, tiger mom walked towards the dense forest. When she arrived in the dense forest, tiger mom raised her head and called out to Cang Nian and tiger brother. The way this big guy and tiger mom get along doesn't look like brother and sister or sister and brother. Wait, this can't be my biological father. After watching the process of tiger mom and the big guy getting along, Cang Nian guessed belatedly, recalling tiger brother's outrageous birth size, amazing growth rate, and abnormal physical talent. Cang Nian felt more and more that this might be the truth. A tiger father will have a dog son. Similarly, the powerful offspring must have extremely excellent genes if they trace their origins. Chapter 42 The Husband's Tiger Dad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Mother Tiger's call, Brother Tiger, who had been waiting obediently on the tree, jumped down from above. After hard training, it has learned how to get off trees, and because of its rough skin and thick flesh, it has no problem rushing down from a height of more than 10 meters. He trotted to tiger mother and rubbed the tip of his nose with both attachment and worry. Tiger brother hummed and cared about tiger mother. The mother tiger fought with the male tiger, and the brother tiger also saw it. But because the tiger mother and Cang Nian ordered it to stay in the tree and not come down, it could only stay still. When he saw such a big fur ball jumping out of the tree, Dad Tiger was also stunned. Darling, why are you so big? It remembered that it had not been a month since the tiger mother gave birth. How come this is more than 10 kilograms? Seeing this, the tiger father took 2 steps forward and wanted to take a good look at his cub. However, the tiger brother was startled and hurriedly hid behind the tiger mother, only daring to stick his head out to peek. Roar. The fur is so frizzy that it scares Zai Zai. The tiger mother growled in dissatisfaction. Hearing the sound, the huge tiger father stopped quickly and stood there a little at a loss. He simply sat down and lay on the ground to make himself look less oppressive. Seeing this, Cang Nian also had a little understanding of the tiger's father's character and knew that he would not hurt him, so he came down from the tree with confidence. Seeing another little tiger cub coming down from the tree, the tiger father immediately stood up and stretched his neck to take a look. When Cang Nian came to the ground, he first came to the tiger mother and rubbed himself, expressed his worries and concerns, and let the tiger mother see that he was not injured. After reporting that he was safe, he then walked towards the tiger father. Seeing this, Tiger's father was so happy that he wanted to run towards Cang Nian, but he was afraid that standing up would cause too much pressure and scare Cang Nian, so he lay on the ground and fidgeted, waiting for Cang Nian to come by himself. Isn't this too big? From a distance, I still don't have a clear idea. But when I face it head-on, even if Tiger Dad's eyes are filled with expectation and his expression is extremely friendly, he still feels very oppressive. To me now, it's like a wall. Hill. Looking at the tiger father who was so excited that his tail was twirling, Cang Nian admired in his heart. If he had been a human in his previous life, he would have been scared to death when he saw such a tiger father. However, now that he was a little tiger cub and the son of the tiger father, Cang Nian walked up to the tiger father very calmly and rubbed the tip of his nose and cheek under his expectant gaze. In the tiger's behavioral habits, this is an expression of intimacy and friendliness, and is mostly used when a family of tigers get along. When the tiger father heard the tiger mother's cry for help, he immediately came to the rescue and solved the crisis 3 times, 5 times and 5 times 2 times. Such a father would naturally be recognized by the old man. Feeling Cang Nian's tiny breath, Tiger Dad suddenly felt a little dizzy. This is my own Zai Zai. This is the continuation of your own bloodline. As a tiger father who became a father for the first time, he felt a sense of ecstasy. Being recognized by your children is what every father hopes for. As for Cang Nian, after he and his father had made contact with each other, he stretched out his paws and pulled at his father's paws. He found that his paws were ridiculously big, and one of his front paws was wider than his own. Seeing that Cang Nian was interested in his majestic body, Tiger Dad immediately became excited. He raised his claws, stretched them out, and then fully ejected the claw blade so that Cang Nian could observe better. Cang Nian raised his head and estimated that one of Tiger Dad's claw blades was at least 8 centimeters, equivalent to a small scimitar, and was as white as jade. You can imagine how powerful one claw would be. At this moment, the tiger father remembered that he had just killed the male tiger without eyes, and his paws were still stained with blood, so he put his paws down angrily. On the side, the tiger mother watched the friendly interaction between father and son, with a happy smile on her face. Roar. Then, tiger mother turned around and growled at brother tiger who was hiding behind her. Go for it. Stay close to daddy. The Zai Zai is also very brave. After hearing tiger mother's encouragement, brother tiger cautiously came out from behind tiger mother, and then walked towards tiger father with some hesitation. The tiger dad is so big that it's scary to look at, no, scary to the tiger. However, seeing his brother getting along easily and happily with dad tiger, brother tiger gained a lot of courage in his heart and boldly speeded up. Seeing another cub walking towards him, dad tiger became even more happy. Arriving in front of father tiger, brother tiger looked up at the tall and mighty father tiger and was stunned for a while. It wasn't until Cang Nian pushed it with his paw that brother tiger came back to his senses. His body was trembling a little. He imitated Cang Nian's behavior and rubbed the tip of his nose and cheek with father tiger. Father tiger happily stretched out his big tongue and licked brother tiger's little face, but because it was the first time he licked such a little guy, he used too much force and licked brother tiger over and fell to the ground. Snap. Ah! The next second, tiger mother's paw had already slapped tiger dad on the face, causing tiger dad to let out a whimper. However, the tiger father, who is obviously tall and powerful, is like an angry little daughter-in-law, neither daring to get angry nor speak out. Huh, still a rake of ears. Looking at the hopeless tiger father, Cang Nian snickered, but, given the huge gap between the tiger mother and the tiger father, the tiger mother's claw strikes to the tiger father, even if they are not as exaggerated as tickling, will not cause any harm. Therefore, tiger dad's aggrieved look was just a show of pretense. Roar. Be careful. Otherwise, stop playing with Zai Zai. Tiger mother growled in warning. The tiger father, after pretending to sob a few times, shrank his head and smiled. However, although tiger brother was licked, he was not so squeamish. Moreover, because of this interaction, brother tiger is no longer so afraid of dad tiger, and most of his wariness has been eliminated, so, it jumped up and circled around the tiger father, marveling in its heart, so big. I will definitely grow this big in the future. Brother tiger thought so. Looking at brother tiger, how could father tiger not be able to read his eyes? It is normal for young tiger cubs to look forward to their larger counterparts and hope that they can be so powerful in the future. Tiger's father had this idea when he was a child, so, Father Tiger stood up and raised his head so that Brother Tiger could better appreciate his majestic appearance. As for Cang Nian, he got up and came to the body of the male tiger that was beaten to death by the tiger father. Although this guy is much smaller than Tiger Dad, he is close to 280 kilograms. He might also be an evolved creature. Do you want to give it a try? Cang Nian thought curiously. Evolved meat can accumulate proficiency in digestion skills better than ordinary flesh and blood, and it should have subtle benefits to the body. Although this is also a tiger and a member of his own species, Cang Nian only thinks that those who are friendly to him are companions. Those who want to kill him must naturally be prepared to become his food. So, he bit off a piece of meat from the head of the male tiger that had been smashed by the tiger father, and swallowed it. After becoming a tiger, he was not disgusted by such bloody raw food. But the next second, his throat moved and he spit it out. Chapter 43 The Fierce Tiger Dad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bah, bah, bah. You're so big, but you're not an evolved creature. No wonder you can't catch me. What a waste. After vomiting, Cang Nian cursed in his heart, the Amur leopard flesh and blood I ate before has undergone evolution, so it is not like ordinary carnivores, which have too much acidic substances deposited in their bodies, making the flesh and blood sour. Instead, it is very delicious, but this male tiger is a standard ordinary creature. Its flesh and blood are sour and difficult to eat. Cang Nian estimated that evolution would allow creatures to cleanse their muscles and marrow, and the whole body would undergo a thorough cleansing to remove impurities, so that the evolved meat would not taste sour and would have a superior taste, but there's nothing you can do about it. Evolved creatures are hard to come by. Not just any creature you encounter has evolved. At this time, Tiger's father, who was still posing for Brother Tiger and enjoying the admiring gaze of his cub, noticed that Cang Nian was eating the flesh and blood of the male tiger, and ended up vomiting. Ouch! Then, it let out a short howl, and immediately ran away into the distance, plunging into the dense forest. Ouch! Looking at Father Tiger walking away, Brother Tiger tilted his head in confusion and looked at Mother Tiger. What did Dad do? Roar! Tiger Mother growled and comforted Tiger Brother, it's off to catch something delicious. Brother Tiger suddenly became happy, and after a while of silly fun, he noticed that Cang Nian was messing with the male tiger's body, so he trotted over to it. No. My claws are too small. I can barely skin a Siberian leopard. The Siberian tiger's fur is too thick. This Siberian tiger is still quite big. My claws can't even touch the skin when I extend it. Cang Nian looked at the body of the male tiger, made two gestures with his paws, and muttered in his heart with some frustration. Although the meat cannot be eaten, the fur is a good thing and can be used. With such a big tiger skin, I can sleep with a tiger occupying it, and drive the tiger brother to the Siberian leopard's leopard skin. The weather is getting hotter and hotter, and the two brothers are getting bigger and bigger. Cang Nian doesn't want to squeeze into a mattress with Brother Tiger in the hot summer of July and August. It makes sense for a little tiger to sleep on a tiger skin. Ugh! At this time, there was a sound of vomiting next to Cang Nian. When he turned around, Brother who vomited out a lump of meat and was still retching after vomiting, just now, he was just admiring the majestic appearance of Father Tiger. Brother Tiger didn't even notice that Cang Nian had been tricked. He stupidly took a mouthful of tiger meat and followed Cang Nian's footsteps and was vomited. Brother Tiger, who has only eaten evolved meat from the Amur leopard since birth, naturally thinks that all meat is edible and delicious, so he starts eating it without any thought. At this time, the tiger mother saw Cang Nian gesturing at the male tiger's body, came over and asked in a low voice. Yes. I can ask Tiger Mom for help. Only then did Cang Nian remember that when he peeled off the Amur leopard's skin, the tiger mother also helped. However, that time, I was responsible for cutting, and the tiger mother was responsible for handling the heavy body of the Siberian leopard. Ouch! So Cang Nian described his purpose in detail, and used his paws to make famous signs on the male tiger's body. telling the tiger mother where to start and along which line to cut the fur. Understanding what Cang Nian wanted to do, the tiger mother listened to the instructions cooperatively, cut open the male tiger's body bit by bit, and carefully removed a complete tiger skin. By the time the tiger skin was removed, the tiger mother was already panting. There was no way. Compared with the Amur leopard whose skin was harvested before, this male tiger weighed nearly 3 times as much as the former. It was quite heavy, which made the tiger mother struggle for a while. Ouch! At this time, there was a noise in the bushes in the distance, and the 3 members of the family all turned their heads, but the next second, Cang Nian saw a pair of huge and bloated horns squeezed out from the bushes, and then the tiger father's majestic body, holding an elk's neck in his bloody mouth, slowly moved towards the mother and son. Come, only when the tiger father dragged the elk out completely did Cang Nian realize how huge it was. The tiger father is already as big as a wild tiger, but compared to the elk in front of him, he looks petite. I am not very good at estimating the weight of an elk, but there is no doubt that this one is definitely a big guy. However, Tiger Dad dragged the elk carcass which was much heavier than him without any difficulty, which gave Cang Nian a more intuitive understanding of its power, so fierce. How long has it been? Just now, I ran to the tiger mother's rescue. Dozens of claws slapped a tiger king weighing nearly 280 kilograms to death. In less than half an hour, I quickly hunted an absurdly large adult male. The elk dragged the other party's body back. At this moment, Cang Nian was extremely certain that Tiger Dad was definitely an evolved creature, and that was why he had such a terrifying physique. Boom! Arriving in front of the tiger mother, the tiger father put the elk carcass down and slammed it on the ground with a muffled sound. Ouch! Then, Dad Tiger raised his head and roared excitedly, "Wife! Husband, am I strong?" Ouch! Tiger mother nodded reservedly. Not bad. Tiger Dad didn't understand what nodding meant, but when he heard Tiger Mom's approval, he immediately became elated and leaned in front of Tiger Mom to ask for help. Snap! But the only thing that greeted it was the tiger mother's paws. Ouch! The tiger mother rolled her eyes and howled, "What are you doing? Quickly disembowel the prey and let the pups eat it." Hearing this, Tiger Dad quickly ran to cut open the elk carcass, but at this moment, Tiger Mother suddenly pulled Tiger Father back and turned her head to look at Cang Nian. Ouch! Do you want this big guy's fur? The Tiger Mother has not forgotten that Cang Nian has a hobby of collecting furs. Cang Nian was stunned when Tiger Mother reminded him like this. He collects furs and uses them as mattresses. Since he already has the furs of Amur leopards and male tigers, he has no need for more. However, after being reminded like this by the Tiger Mother, and looking at how big the elk is, its fur can be used as a mattress for the Tiger Mother, so he came to the elk carcass and stroked it a few times with his paws. Then his eyes lit up. The feel was more delicate and soft than he imagined. He thought that the fur of a big guy like an elk would be very rough. Ouch! Cang Nian quickly said that he needed this elk skin. Hearing this, Tiger Mom raised her chin to Tiger Dad, indicating to the old man that he could make use of Tiger Dad's free labor force despite his demands. Ouch! Cang Nian was not polite and ordered Tiger Dad how to skin him. After a while, Tiger Dad, under his command, took off a huge and complete elk skin. After doing this, the Tiger Father disemboweled the elk, put his paws in and took out a dark red, large object, and placed it flatteringly in front of the Tiger Mother. Based on the shape, Cang Nian could tell that this should be the liver, if I remember correctly. Animal liver is a high-quality protein that is easy to absorb and is rich in various trace elements. It is a natural food with high nutrient density. Carnivores like to eat liver. When a baby eats meat for the first time, it usually uses liver to make the transition gradually. There is no doubt that the Tiger Father loves his wife very much. The most fat and high-quality parts of a prey are given to the Tiger Mother first. Chapter 44 Evolved Meat Again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tiger Dad offered the delicious parts to Tiger Mom, but Tiger Mom didn't eat them directly. Tiger Mom looked at Cang Nian, then looked at Tiger Brother, and asked softly if the two brothers wanted to eat. Just as when Tiger Dad had something delicious, the first person he thought of was Tiger Mom. When Tiger Mom had something delicious, the first person she thought of was her two cubs. Cang Nian actually wanted to eat, but he couldn't eat too much now. After all, the evolutionary meat of the northeast leopard was just eaten this morning, and Tiger Brother didn't have so many concerns. He was a top physique that could eat and grow. When he heard Tiger Mom calling him to eat delicious food, he ran over and bit and swallowed it without hesitation. Tiger Dad looked at Tiger Brother eating elk liver, frowned, and thought hard, did he remember it wrong? Aren't his 2 sons born less than a month ago? He remembered that when he was this old, he was still breastfeeding. However, Tiger Dad didn't bother to think too much. If you eat meat early, you won't be small. It's a good thing that the cub can eat meat. Seeing this, Cang Nian, although not very hungry, also went forward to eat. Keeping a full stomach at all times, the body stores more energy and can exercise more intensively. After taking a bite of the liver, Cang Nian was surprised by the tender and elastic taste. The fresh taste was delicious, even better than the meat of the northeast leopard. Maybe it was delicious, or maybe the liver was delicate and easier to digest. Even though he was not very hungry, Cang Nian ate a lot. Ding. Eat 1 kilogram of evolution meat, meat-eating skill proficiency +3. 9 out of 100, just when Cang Nian thought he was full, a system prompt sounded in his mind, which made him stunned. Wait. Evolved meat? Is this elk also an evolved creature? And the proficiency of 1 kilogram is higher than that of the Siberian leopard. Does this mean that its degree of evolution is higher than that of the Siberian leopard? Then Tiger Dad is definitely an evolved creature, otherwise it shouldn't be so easy to deal with an evolved elk that is at least twice as heavy as it. Then, Cang Nian thought about it, but anyway, this is also a good thing. Evolved meat has a high energy density and better meat quality, which is good for the body. In addition, more importantly, the evolutionary meat decays much slower than ordinary blood and flesh. Even when it is close to the hot summer, the evolved meat of the Siberian leopard has not decayed for several days, and this evolved elk is so big and has too much meat. Even if Tiger Dad must have a big appetite, he definitely can't eat meat that is more than twice his weight, so, according to Cang Nian's guess, Tiger Dad probably hasn't seen Tiger Mom for a long time and wants to show off his masculine charm, so he hunted the biggest guy as much as possible, without considering whether he can finish it or not. But fortunately, this is evolved meat, which should not rot for a long time. So you don't have to watch it rot, but your stomach can't hold it at all. Cang Nian was full, but Tiger Brother was very vigorous. He only weighed 12 kilograms, but he ate 4 kilograms of liver, which made his belly round and he collapsed on the ground and couldn't walk. But the elk was too big, and the liver was the largest gland of the organism. The liver of this big guy weighed more than 10 kilograms, and the brothers didn't eat half of it. Seeing that the 2 little ones were full, Tiger Mom lowered her head modestly and ate the rest of the liver. Seeing that Tiger Mom started to eat, Tiger Dad hurriedly got busy and took out the delicious internal organs of the elk, such as the heart and kidneys, for Tiger Mom to eat. However, because it was evolved meat and Tiger Mom, like the 2 little ones, had not eaten for a long time before, she was not very hungry, but she stopped eating the delicious internal organs. After Tiger Mom finished eating, Tiger Dad started eating. It can be seen that Tiger Dad had not eaten for several days due to the heavy rain. In addition, he had been running around before, shooting male tigers to death, and running to hunt, so he was already hungry. It was big in size, and its appetite was amazing. It ate meat quickly with its big mouth, which made Cang Nian really see what it was like to eat voraciously. In just a few minutes, the 2 thick hind legs of the elk entered Tiger Dad's stomach, and it was estimated that there were 60 to 70 kilograms of net meat. But at this point, Tiger Dad had reached his limit. There was no way. Its weight was about 320 kilograms, and it ate 1/5 of its weight in food, and it was still evolutionary meat, which could be said to be a big eater. Ah! Looking at so much meat left, Tiger Mom yelled at Tiger Dad in annoyance. What a waste! The whole family did not eat 100 kilograms, but this evolved elk was at least twice the weight of Tiger Dad, and the net meat alone was estimated to be 300 to 400 kilograms. There are at least 2/3 left, and the family probably can't finish it in a week. Such a big guy. It would be great to save it for the 2 cubs to eat together when they grow up and have a bigger appetite. The tiger mother complained with some regret. The tiger father shrank his head and didn't dare to refute. It really didn't think about the problem of waste after hunting this big guy. Before, it just wanted to show off its hunting skills in front of his wife and children. Indeed, even if the evolutionary meat decays much slower, it is estimated that it can't be preserved for half a month or even a month. With the appetite of our tiger family, it is estimated that it will be difficult to eat it before it decays. Cang Nian nodded in agreement. Hey. By the way, can I hang the extra meat to air dry? Even without salt, dehydrated and air-dried meat can be preserved much longer than raw meat. At this time, an idea came to Cang Nian's mind. Although air-dried meat without salt sounds ridiculous, in some places with special environments, as long as ventilation and coolness are guaranteed, fresh meat can be air-dried without spoiling. Cang Nian didn't know whether the area near his home met such requirements, but this elk meat is not ordinary fresh meat. Ordinary fresh meat, in the current weather close to the hot summer, will completely deteriorate in one day at most, and the evolved meat, at least according to Cang Nian's experience, will not show signs of spoilage within 4 days. Hanging it in a dry and ventilated place for 4 days, it should become jerky. The more he thought about it, the more Cang Nian felt that this method was feasible. He did what he thought. Cang Nian immediately came to the elk carcass that had only had its internal organs removed and its 2 hind legs eaten. He avoided the large and thick muscles and used his claws to cut out a long strip of about 1 kilogram from the corner and tore it off with force. Before the elk meat rots, the tiger family will have to eat it at least once more. It weighs about 100 kilograms, so it is better to save the large piece of meat for fresh eating. Then, he held the strip of meat in his mouth, ran to the front of the dense forest, and climbed up the tree with a swish. After placing the strip of meat on the branch to ensure that it would not fall, Cang Nian turned around and continued to repeat the action. Seeing Cang Nian's strange behavior, not only the tiger father was confused, but even the tiger mother was puzzled. As for the tiger brother, after watching for a while, he thought it was something fun, so he followed behind Cang Nian's butt, imitated tearing the strip of meat down, and carried it to the tree to hang it, having a lot of fun. Chapter 45 Can I Fix the Bug in the Ant Nest? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although the tiger parents and tiger mothers did not understand the purpose of Cang Nian tearing the elk meat into strips and transporting them to hang on the trees, they did not stop him. After all, there is so much meat to eat now that some of it must be wasted. Rather than letting it rot there, it's better to let Zai Zai play with it, even, in order to make it easier for Cang Nian to transport it. The tiger father also picked up the elk carcass and dragged it to the bottom of the dense forest, so that Cang Nian could travel less distance. In this way, one trip after another, the whole morning passed, and Cang Nian transported almost 100 kilograms of meat strips to the tree. Brother Tiger followed suit and also transported nearly 30 kilograms. Ding. Bite once, bite skill proficiency +1. 100/100. Ding. Congratulations to the host, the bite skill proficiency has reached the full value, and this skill has evolved into sharp teeth. It is worth mentioning that as he bit off strips of meat from the elk carcass, he unlocked the relatively late biting skill, maxed out his proficiency, and evolved. Immediately, Cang Nian felt that his teeth had become a little harder. Not much, but he could feel it. After all, it's just the initial skill that evolves once. In addition, the climbing skills have also accumulated a level of proficiency due to hundreds of trips up and down. The second evolution of skills is a big leap towards the third evolution. It will be very difficult to gain proficiency, just like jogging to running before, but as long as evolution is successful, it is a real qualitative change. It should be almost done now. There are still more than 100 kilograms of meat left, which is enough for our family to have another meal. If it were ordinary fresh meat, Cang Nian wouldn't bother to dry it and preserve it, but this is evolved meat. Although I have always eaten evolved meat since I started eating meat, it does not mean that this thing can be found everywhere. Cang Nian is well aware of the benefits of evolved meat. Not only is it high in energy density, it tastes delicious, but it also promotes body growth. In the past few days, Cang Nian felt that his weight gain was faster than before. The same goes for Brother Tiger, whose body is like a balloon and grows very fast. In addition, I don't know if it's an illusion, but Cang Nian feels that Tiger Mother seems to have grown a bit. Perhaps, evolved meat can break the limits of racial growth and allow tiger mothers who have already passed their growth period to grow in size. In this way, the benefits of evolved meat will be even greater. Therefore, such a precious good thing cannot be wasted, although I don't know whether the substances containing these benefits can be preserved after drying, but how do I know if I don't try? At noon, when it was very hot, Cang Nian hid in the shade of a tree and rested. As for the tiger father and tiger mother, they had long been bored to the side. However, the tiger mother still wanted to be shameless and did not let the tiger father act recklessly and do inappropriate things in front of the children. Ouch! At this time, brother tiger, who had been tired all morning, raised his head and howled at the tree. No need to think about it, it was calling the little sable to come down and give it a tickling massage. Having enjoyed such attentive service before, tiger brother became familiar with the taste of food. He didn't enjoy it much because the male tiger came to cause trouble in the morning, but now he can enjoy it with peace of mind. Gigi. However, the little sable stood on a branch of the pine tree 5 to 6 meters high, hugging the trunk and squeaking. It's scared. It had become familiar with Cang Nian and tiger brother before, so it wasn't afraid anymore. As for the tiger mother, she only showed off her powerful tree-climbing ability at the beginning, which shocked her, and she did not hurt herself at the time. Therefore, although the little sable did not dare to get too close, she went down the tree to play with Cang Nian and tiger brother. When I was there, I wasn't so afraid, but tiger dad is different. This is the first strange tiger the little sable has seen, and it's so big. He also slapped the paws of an equally large male tiger to death. How terrible. But now, the tiger father and the tiger mother are only 10 meters away from the tiger brother. How dare the little sable get off the tree? Hearing the sound, brother tiger tilted his head and thought for a moment, then, it took 2 steps back, and then climbed up the tree. After a while, it came to the little sable, and then lay down on a rather thick tree branch. Ouch! Start scratching. Brother who urged in a low voice, since the little sable doesn't dare to get off the tree, why not just come up on its own? I'm so smart. Brother who praised himself for his wit. The little sable was stunned for a moment, then nodded suddenly. Immediately, it hurriedly climbed on brother tiger's back and started service. Seeing brother who being so arrogant and corrupt, Cang Nian shook his head angrily. How about I catch another small animal and give it a massage? Cang Nian began to think about the feasibility of this idea. The little sable was a friend who had saved his life. Brother tiger was ignorant, so he just used it like that. Old man would not do such a dishonest thing, but catching other small animals and using force to force them to do things for themselves. Cang Nian has no psychological burden, he is a tiger. It's the cub of the king of the jungle. It's just that the little sable is most likely an evolved creature with a much smarter brain. Other small animals are probably not as smart and would be more difficult to train, but it doesn't matter, you have plenty of time for yourself. By the way, I have a killing skill that can improve my proficiency. I haven't tried it since I indirectly killed the Siberian leopard. Why don't I try it now? At this moment, Cang Nian suddenly remembered a skill that he had overlooked. He did it as he thought of it. Cang Nian began to look for targets to kill in the dense forest. After a while, he saw an ant nest under the pine tree. This shouldn't work. Seeing the ant nest, Cang Nian muttered hesitantly. Let's try it first. What if it works? Cang Nian raised his claws and slapped them hard with a fluke mentality. Pa! With one claw, a large group of ants were slapped into meat patties, embedded in the soil and couldn't be picked out. As expected, nothing happened. Sure enough, such an obvious bug is impossible for me to succeed. With his fantasy shattered, Cang Nian can only look for bigger targets. Snail. Slap it to death. Useless, mantis. Slap it to death. Useless, mouse. Slap it to death. Useless, toad. Slap it to death. Useless. After a busy period, Cang Nian was frustrated that he didn't even have one layer of proficiency in killing skills. Sure enough, a target that is too small can't be counted into the proficiency at all. Cang Nian finally realized the truth and shook his head helplessly. Coo! At this time, Cang Nian heard a barely perceptible cry in the bushes. Then, he quietly crouched down, walked slowly, and carefully walked towards the source of the sound, step by step. This was his imitation of tiger moms hunting. Before chasing prey, you must patiently approach the prey. Only when you are close enough can you hit it with one shot. After about a quarter of an hour, Cang Nian finally saw the source of the sound. It was a free-range chicken with colorful feathers. Chapter 46 The Shocked Tiger Dad. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cang Nian didn't know the specific scientific name of the free-range chicken in front of him, and whether it was a protected animal. After all, he was not an expert in this field. However, that didn't matter. He was a tiger now, and eating anything had nothing to do with breaking the law. He was just hungry, and it was a natural law to eat a giant panda, and no one could control it. Now, Cang Nian was still 5 meters away from the gorgeous free-range chicken, and he wanted to continue lurking to increase the success rate of hunting. However, it seemed that the smell was exposed, and the free-range chicken immediately began to flap its wings and fled. Seeing this, Cang Nian no longer hid, and moved his body, as fast as lightning, and ran towards the free-range chicken. This scared the free-range chicken, and its wings danced into a residual image, and it actually flew up. However, this guy's flying ability was limited, and he only flew up more than 1 meter. Cang Nian accelerated and jumped, and instantly swooped it down from the air. It was just that Cang Nian had no hunting experience, and his accuracy was a bit poor. He didn't bite the opponent's throat in one bite, but bit the wing instead. Fortunately, the strength of both sides was not at the same level. Even if he did not bite the vital part, Cang Nian still pulled the other party down, then straightened it with his claws, and worked for a while before biting the throat with his mouth, ending the other party's life. Ouch! At this time, there was a sound in the bushes. Cang Nian turned his head alertly, but found that it was the tiger father and tiger mother. It turned out that Cang Nian's hunting made a lot of noise, and he did not kill it with one shot. It took a long time to take it down, and then attracted the tiger father and tiger mother. Although she was just being affectionate with the tiger father, the tiger mother did not relax. She kept an eye on the movements of the two brothers and knew that Cang Nian was leaving in this direction. At this moment, seeing Cang Nian biting the throat of a pheasant, she was slightly stunned, and then an anti-smile appeared on her face. This is my cub. It's not even a month old, and he's hunting alone. Moreover, the hunt was successful. The tiger mother was extremely proud at this moment, and the fatigue of feeding the cubs before was swept away. Animals don't have the concept of raising children to support them in old age. Raising cubs is not for the sake of having children to take care of them when they are old, but for the pure continuation of life and bloodline. Now, seeing that Cang Nian has learned to hunt, it means that Cang Nian will be a master of survival in the future, and their bloodline will be more likely to continue than the bloodline of other tigers. How can they not feel proud? However, at this time, Cang Nian did not notice the expression on the tiger mother's face. Ding! Kill a prey, killing skill proficiency +1. 1/100, because, after trying so many targets, I finally got a level of proficiency in killing skills. It seems that only targets that meet certain body size conditions can be judged by the system as killing targets that can improve proficiency. According to the system's conventions, it is probably weight, right? This pheasant weighs about a little more than 1 kilogram, which is 1/7 or even 1/6 of my own weight. It can meet the requirements for improving proficiency, so it should be okay if it is larger than it, but how small is the minimum? Cang Nian analyzed it in his mind, but if you want to find out, you still have to try. As for this pheasant, he is not hungry now, and the evolved elk hunted by Tiger Dad has not been eaten yet. I used to think that stray cats are not hungry but harm birds, which is quite hateful. Now I have become such a cat myself. Cang Nian muttered to himself. However, it is just a pheasant. If you don't eat it, just throw it away. Anyway, there will definitely be other animals that will pick it up and eat it, so it won't be wasted. Only the indiscriminate killing of adult male Siberian tigers like Tiger Dad will cause the ecological balance of an area to be destroyed. Killing a chicken by yourself will not cause much harm, so Cang Nian threw the pheasant away, returned to the open space, and started running. In fact, running is the most convenient skill to practice. Unlike climbing skills, you need to climb up and down the tree, and only record the distance up, and the distance down does not count. Now, Cang Nian's speed is about the same as that of an adult tiger, that is, one level of proficiency for every 10,000 meters, so it is not difficult to practice. Now, he can run 1,000 meters in 3 minutes, and for him, it is just jogging, which can be maintained for a long time, for 10,000 meters. If he slows down and takes the rest interval, he can finish it in an hour. If the running skill is evolved again, it will be the first 3 evolved skills. At that time, all aspects of physical fitness will have a greater qualitative change, and the proficiency of other skills will also be improved a lot. Cang Nian thought for a moment and decided on the next training plan. Before, it was to improve multiple skills, drive the improvement of physical fitness, so that he had no shortcomings, and thus greatly improve the running speed, and let the jogging skill evolve into running in one fell swoop. Now, it is to rely on the leading advantage of the running skill, as a leader, to drive the proficiency of other skills. There is no way. Most of the important skills are stuck in the 3rd stage, and the 3rd stage to the 4th stage is a qualitative change. The experience bar is not extended 10 times, but 100 times. And the running skill, from the 4th stage to the 5th stage, is still extended 10 times, which is relatively simpler. 1 level per hour, I can clear at least 12 levels a day. Plus the speed improvement with each level, I should be able to complete the evolution of my running skills within a week. Cang Nian set a short-term goal for himself, and then he started running around the open space in the grassland. Whoosh whoosh, Cang Nian was like an orange-yellow electric light, running in circles on the grass, as if he was tireless. At this time, the tiger father, who was lying under the shade of the tree, was stunned. What's going on? This is the speed that a little tiger cub who is not even a month old can burst out. It seems to be no worse than himself. Originally, the tiger father thought that the tiger brother was even more outrageous. In less than a month, he looked like a 3-month-old tiger cub. This physical talent was simply shocking. As a result, Cang Nian had previously transported elk meat to the tree and hung it, but it made him feel that this much smaller cub might be even more powerful. Carrying a piece of meat that was not small for Cang Nian, he could still climb so fast, and climb hundreds of times. This physical strength was simply outrageous. Even the tiger brother that it had previously favored could only climb less than 30 times in the same period of time. The gap was too great, and now, seeing Cang Nian running so fast, Tiger Dad was even more surprised. Are all the tiger cubs nowadays so abnormal? Tiger Dad was a little doubtful about tiger life. Hearing Tiger Dad's stunned cry, Tiger Mom raised her chin proudly. This is my cub. Moreover, the little cub can make a Siberian leopard play around in the tree. Chapter 47 Tiger Dad's Sense of Responsibility. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the sky grew dark, Tiger Mother looked at Cang Nian and Tiger Brother and called out, "It's time to go home." Ouch! However, when she saw the Tiger Father following him, the Tiger Mother let out a warning cry, "Ouch!" Dad Tiger, on the other hand, sat on the ground aggrievedly. "Why don't you let me go home with you?" Ouch! In response to Tiger Dad's plea, Tiger Mom did not relent, but resolutely refused. The Tiger Father is too big and powerful. Any careless movement may hurt the 2 cubs. When she is awake, the Tiger Mother can still keep an eye on her to avoid problems, but when it's time to go back to sleep, the Tiger Mother can't keep watching. How can the Tiger Mother feel relieved about the Tiger Father who has not lived with the 2 cubs for a long time? Even if Tiger Dad turns over, he might crush Cang Nian and the others to death. Therefore, you can't let Tiger Dad go back to the cave to sleep with you. Seeing Tiger Mom's resolute expression, Tiger Dad's ears drooped and he felt quite depressed. Ouch! Out of love and obedience to Tiger Mother, Tiger Father still compromised, but finally asked Tiger Mother if he would bring Cang Nian and Tiger Brother here tomorrow. Ouch! The Tiger Mother nodded and made an agreement. The 2 pups have to go out for exercise every day, and they will definitely come tomorrow. Hearing this, Tiger Dad's depressed mood recovered a lot and he nodded excitedly. Tiger Dad is definitely an evolved creature. It only took him less than a day to understand the meaning of simple movements such as nodding and shaking his head, and used it flexibly in communication. This is not an intelligence that ordinary animals can possess. Seeing this, Cang Nian nodded secretly. Ouch! Then, he came to the tiger father and pointed with his paw at the strips of meat hanging on the tree. Dad, help me keep these meat strips. Don't let other little animals eat it. Cang Nian expressed his thoughts, which made Tiger Dad suddenly smile. Staying here to sleep by yourself will not only reassure your wife, but also help Zai Zai. Very nice. Ouch. The tiger father nodded quickly, puffed out his chest, waved his paws, and showed his strength. He just barely learned how to pat his chest. Don't worry. Dad will definitely help you guard it. If anyone comes to steal it, Daddy will shoot it to death. After receiving the tiger father's assurance, Cang Nian rubbed his cheek with him and followed the tiger mother back to the cave. 21 days after birth, the weather is sunny. Early in the morning, brother tiger ran out the door excitedly. The strips of meat hanging on the tree yesterday were partly the fruits of its labor. Therefore, before going home last night, when Cang Nian asked father tiger to guard the meat strips, brother tiger also became vigilant. Other small animals will definitely want to eat this delicious meat. Therefore, even if the tiger father is watching over him, the tiger brother is very worried whether some small animals will secretly steal the meat strips while the tiger father is asleep. When they arrived at the clearing, Cang Nian saw from a distance that father tiger was yawning with his mouth wide open. Tiger Dad didn't sleep all night and just watched the meat sticks, right? Seeing this scene, Cang Nian felt slightly guilty. He made a casual request, and Tiger Dad fulfilled it with such sincerity that he would rather not sleep. Ouch. At this time, the tiger father also saw 3 tigers, 1 large, 2 small, and 3. He immediately stood up and wanted to run towards this side, but at this time, it thought that it still had the responsibility of guarding the meat strips, so it resisted the impulse and just stood there and growled a few times in excitement. Seeing this, Cang Nian was quite moved and rushed to father tiger, sobbing and thanking him. Ouch. But Tiger Dad didn't care. It is only natural for a father to help his son. What kind of thanks do you need? However, the tiger father was very happy to be thanked by his children for his efforts, and the fatigue from not sleeping all night was relieved a lot. But at this time, brother tiger had already rushed to the tree and started to check whether there were any strips of meat. But it is just a tiger cub that is less than a month old. How can it possibly know numbers? So, brother tiger just looked at it twice and was dazzled. He squatted on the branch of the tree in frustration. Are there too many meat sticks? So distressed. But at this moment, it saw the little sable holding a piece of meat on the tree and gnawing on it. Ouch! This made brother tiger very angry. This is something we managed to get by after a lot of effort. How dare you steal it? So brother tiger angrily rushed towards the little sable. However, although brother tiger's tree climbing skills have become relatively proficient under the dual training of Cang Nian and tiger mother, there is still a big gap compared with a natural tree climbing expert like Little Sable, who didn't understand why brother tiger was angry, quickly ran behind Cang Nian to seek shelter. Little Sable is not stupid. Cang Nian and brother who are 2 brothers. Although brother who seems to be bigger, Cang Nian is actually the one who has the absolute say. Ouch! Seeing that the little sable had stolen the meat strips and was hiding behind his brother, brother tiger became even more angry. He screamed and asked Cang Nian to hand over the little sable, and he wanted to teach it a lesson. Seeing this, Cang Nian was happy. Ouch! However, Cang Nian knew that the little sable would definitely not be able to do such a bold thing as sneaking meat sticks under the nose of Tiger's father, so he explained to brother tiger. Obviously, the meat strips of the little sable were the meat strips of the Siberian leopard that I gave to it 5 days ago. That was a gift from the little sable to thank him for giving him an early warning, so that he could avoid being attacked by the leopard and die suddenly, because the meat strip weighed more than 1 pound, and the little sable itself was only a little over 1 kilogram, and it had not been eaten for such a long time. However, seeing the little sable eating the meat strip, Cang Nian was more confident about drying the elk meat into jerky, because the little sable had only a small piece of meat strip left, which was not rotten, but had been dehydrated into jerky. Perhaps it was because of its small size, and the environment here was well ventilated, dry and refreshing. the body of the leopard that Tiger Mom brought back to the cave was a little white in the end, but the meat strip of the little sable had been dried. Even in 2 days of heavy rain, it remained dry. Cang Nian suspected that the little sable had hidden it in the tree hole. After Cang Nian explained, Tiger Brother finally understood that the little sable did not steal the meat strip that he had worked so hard to transport to the tree, so at Cang Nian's request, he apologized to the little sable. After resolving this misunderstanding, Cang Nian carefully counted the meat strips hanging on the tree. And finally there was no shortage. In addition, because of the good environment, the skin of the more than 100 meat strips has hardened, and it is estimated that it will be completely dried in 1 or 2 days. Moreover, perhaps because Tiger Dad is entrenched here, not only are there no shortages of meat strips, but there are no mosquitoes and flies crawling on them, as if they are all frightened by Tiger Dad's domineering aura and dare not come near. After confirming that the meat strips are fine, Cang Nian roared at Tiger Brother, "It's time to be self-disciplined." Chapter 48: A Sudden Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why do I feel these grasses have grown taller? Is it because of the rain? After running all morning, Cang Nian has raised his running skill proficiency to level 20, however, the grass on the ground is taller, which affects his running. Perhaps, evolution is becoming more common. Is it the revival of spiritual energy? This not so obvious but quite unusual phenomenon made Cang Nian diverge his thoughts, but after just a little thought, Cang Nian threw these ideas behind his head. No matter whether there is a revival of spiritual energy or whether such changes will be more drastic in the future, just exercise and keep getting stronger, continuously strengthen yourself. No matter how bizarre and strange the future becomes, you will have more confidence to face it. Back to the shade of the tree, Hudi has already run ahead to eat the evolved meat of the elk. This makes Cang Nian quite envious. Hudi's exercise volume is far less than his own, but as long as he exercises for half a day, he will definitely become hungry. It's amazing. If I could have such a terrifying digestion speed like Tiger Brother, I would grow much faster. In order to improve the proficiency of digestion skills as soon as possible, Cang Nian went forward to eat even if he was not too hungry, and tried to keep himself full as much as possible. However, Tiger Dad, who was beside him, also opened his eyes at this time, after not sleeping all night. Tiger Dad could only take a few hours to take advantage of the brothers' exercise. However, Tiger Dad, who had experienced many battles, had already trained the ability to enter deep sleep at any time. Even if it was less than 5 hours of sleep, it would make it energetic. In fact, tigers are nocturnal animals, but Tiger Dad had a lot of exercise yesterday and was very tired, so he was so tired. But when he saw the 2 cubs return to his side, Tiger Dad patiently waited for the brothers to eat. After Cang Nian and Tiger Brother were full, Tiger Dad went forward and wanted to play with the 2 little ones. It wanted to cultivate feelings with the 2 little ones as soon as possible and get along with them more. In this way, Tiger Mom can rest assured and let it go home with her to sleep. Although the habit of tigers is that female tigers feed their cubs alone, even if male tigers have to fulfill some of their nurturing responsibilities, they only send the hunted prey to the vicinity of their spouses and leave, and will not participate in the growth of the cubs. But the tiger father, who has evolved and whose IQ is far higher than that of ordinary tigers, does not think so. Isn't it nice to sleep with his wife and grow up with his children? It's not like he can't afford to raise a family of tigers. With its hunting skills, the prey can be caught easily. Cang Nian is not disgusted by this. First of all, the existence of Tiger Father adds a solid layer of protection to his safety. With the ecological structure of the northeast snow ridge, the only thing that can threaten Tiger Father here, except for humans, is probably the adult brown bear of a very large individual. Of course, if there are adult evolved tigers like Tiger Father, they can naturally threaten Tiger Father. However, compared with the 3-digit northeast tigers in the world, the number of brown bears is much larger, and the possibility of encountering them is much greater. Therefore, the long-term companionship of Tiger Father represents the ultimate sense of security before he grows up. Secondly, the feelings between animals are very pure, especially family affection. Cang Nian, who was an orphan in his previous life, was attached to the meticulous maternal love of Tiger Mom, and felt good about the sometimes reliable and sometimes childish fatherly love of Tiger Dad. After playing with Tiger Dad for a while, Cang Nian went into the dense forest again to look for prey. the killing skill evolved to the killing skill, and this improvement is all round. It can be seen from this that the killing skill has evolved again, and the improvement should also be all round. Therefore, the cost-effectiveness of this skill improvement is very high. Yesterday I figured out that prey over 1 kilogram is enough to be judged as a target for successful killing by the system, so I will try more today. However, after searching for a while, Cang Nian did not find a prey that meets the conditions, in the area of the snow ridge in the northeast, except for small animals that can be seen everywhere. Other animals are not small, there are only a few common prey that weigh more than 1 kilogram and not more than 10 kilograms, a few pheasants, marmots, raccoon dogs, that's it. By the way, there is also a sable, however. The sable is even rarer than the Siberian tiger, it is not easy to see one. Let alone see the second one in an area and hunt it. However, after wandering around, Cang Nian came to the place where he had hunted the pheasant yesterday and left it there. Sure enough, the ready-made prey is still fresh. Even if it is dead, most of the animals picked it up and ate it. I just don't know which animal picked it up and ate it so cleanly. Looking at the clean ground without a single hair left, Cang Nian thought in amazement. Thinking of this, he tried to find fresh traces around, trying to find the animal that ate the pheasant. However, he was not reckless. After all, the animal that can eat the pheasant should not be too small, it's no problem to look for it. His speed can satisfy his curiosity without encountering danger, but if he hunts the other party, Cang Nian probably won't be able to do it. After searching for a while, Cang Nian really found some traces. On the ground covered with humus, Cang Nian found a fresh indentation that looked winding and about 10 centimeters wide. Wait, this mark, could it be a snake? Such a thick snake. Seeing this, Cang Nian shrank his neck and his scalp tingled. The fear of snakes is ingrained in the bones of both humans and tigers. A highly venomous snake can kill even an adult tiger if injected with enough venom. Bang, bang, bang. Just when Cang Nian wanted to stop exploring and retreat, 3 crisp sounds came from the open space. What's that sound? A doubt flashed through Cang Nian's mind, and then he heard the frightened cry of the little sable. Squeak. Squeak. Realizing that things were not simple, Cang Nian ran towards the tiger parents without hesitation. Wow! This tiger is too big, it must be over 600 kilograms. Big profit, big profit. 3 tigers, 2 big and 1 small, can be sold for at least 3 million, right? 3 million. Just this big one is worth 3 million. If the small one is sold abroad, those rich people can at least pay 1 million. Ha ha ha. This anesthetic is really powerful, even this big one can be knocked down in just 1 minute. Come on and help. This thing is so heavy. After this deal, we can all retire. Then we can go abroad and have fun. What kind of human traffickers are we still? It's a loss of face. Brother is right. Go abroad and have fun. Approaching the edge of the dense forest, Cang Nian slowed down his pace, listening to the sound under the shade of the trees, gritting his teeth. It's a poacher. Chapter 49. Waiting for the right opportunity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the discussion over there, Cang Nian was anxious and felt relieved for a moment. Fortunately, the poachers use tranquilizer guns instead of live ammunition. If they really used live ammunition, hunting rifles, Tiger Dad, Tiger Mom, and Tiger Brother would have been dead. Even if Tiger Dad must have evolved, the current level of evolution is far from ignoring hot weapons. After approaching carefully, through the gaps between the bushes, Cang Nian saw the full picture at the moment. Tiger Dad, Tiger Mom, and Tiger Brother, all lay on the ground. Because Tiger Brother was small, the anesthetic needle on his body was the most obvious. It looked like he was shot in the buttocks and was unconscious at the moment, and around them, there were 10 strong adult men, 3 of whom were holding guns that looked like sniper rifles. At this time, 6 of them were tying up Tiger Dad with thick hemp ropes, preparing to transport Tiger Dad away. Roar. But at this moment, the unconscious Tiger Dad suddenly roared and waved his 4 claws randomly. Damn it! You almost cut my belly open. Fuck. This beast is no longer numbed. Sanner, give it 2 more shots. The 6 people who tied up Tiger Dad were startled by the noise and cursed. Fortunately, they were alert when they tied him up, and Tiger Dad was just not numbed. The anesthetic was not ineffective, otherwise someone would have died here, but even so, Tiger Dad unconsciously waved his claws in a coma, and also tore one person's clothes, leaving 3 not-so-deep scratches on his abdomen, and bright red blood oozed out, bang bang bang. Then, the 3 people holding the anesthetic gun fired a volley at Tiger Dad, and Tiger Dad, who was still slightly conscious, calmed down again. Damn it, this big guy has become a spirit, so difficult to deal with. It should be no problem now. With 4 tricks in total, even an elephant should be drugged. Sanner, give this female 1 shot too. At this time, the boss cautiously instructed the poacher holding the tranquilizer gun, bang. With another sound, the second shot of anesthetic was also injected into the tiger mother's body. The previous accident made the poachers a little scared, so they waited for 2 minutes to ensure that the drug was fully effective before carefully testing the tiger father. After a while of fiddling, the tiger father no longer had any reaction, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Damn beast! Aren't you very capable? Show me another one. Seeing this, the poacher with 3 cuts on his abdomen turned from fear to fierceness, and kicked the tiger father's body several times. Okay, don't wake him up again. Hurry up and move him to the car. The poacher leader took a deep puff of cigarette, threw it on the ground, and rolled it with his toes, urging. Then, 6 poachers stepped forward again, tied Tiger Dad tightly, and lifted Tiger Dad up while shouting in unison. Although Tiger Dad may weigh nearly 400 kilograms after a full stomach, these poachers are quite strong and it is not too difficult to lift him up. The remaining 3 poachers holding tranquilizer guns and the poacher leader stayed where they were. There are only 4 of us for now. My speed will definitely be no problem for a sneak attack, but with my size, it is difficult to have enough lethality, and they also have tranquilizer guns and crowbars. It is almost impossible for me to kill one of them by sneak attack, and there is no chance for 4. Seeing that more than half of the people were gone, Cang Nian thought about the possibility of a successful sneak attack, but after thinking about it, his heart sank. The gap is too big. I only weigh about 7 kilograms, which is the size of a large pet cat. Although I have been strengthened in all aspects, and the tiger is a member of the Pantheridae family, I am stronger than almost all cats, but my current combat power may not be as good as that of an average-sized wild wolf. With such strength, it is almost like seeking death to attack poachers. Moreover, even if I can get rid of these 4 people, the 6 poachers who carried Tiger Dad will notice the abnormality as soon as they come back. I will not have any chance to be vigilant. I can only follow them and wait for the opportunity. After weighing the pros and cons, Cang Nian made a rational decision. Rescuing with anger will only make me get caught. Now, the only one who can save Tiger Dad, Tiger Mom, and Tiger Brother is me. Therefore, I must ensure that Tiger Dad and the others can be rescued before I can act. There is only one chance. Thinking of this, Cang Nian waited patiently. After about half an hour, 4 of the 6 people came back. Is it locked up? Seeing the 4 people from afar, the eldest brother shouted and asked. Don't worry, eldest brother. The steel cage is as thick as a child's arm. Even if the Tiger King comes, he can't get out. And there are 2 of them watching it. If it wakes up, give it 2 more shots. It's very stable. Hearing this, one of the 4 people laughed. Then take this female and the little one away quickly. The eldest brother nodded, then asked the 4 people to take the tranquilizer gun, and asked the remaining 3 to carry the tiger mother, while he picked up the tiger brother, and the group walked east. This is the northeast snow ridge. There are many dangerous animals, so poachers would rather make 2 more trips to ensure that some people are on guard. Seeing this, Cang Nian stood up and prepared to chase. Squeak. At this time, the voice of the little sable came from above his head. In less than 2 seconds, the little sable slithered down and came to Cang Nian, squeaking and telling him about the situation, and said that he also wanted to save Tiger Dad and the others. Cang Nian understood the meaning of the little sable's cry, and was quite moved. However, considering that the little sable would have to travel a long distance and could not keep up, he still refused sternly. He was more flexible as a tiger. The little sable's small body could not bear it. Ah, Seeing the little sable's frustrated face, Cang Nian pointed to the meat strip on the tree. Guard the meat strip, I will bring Tiger Dad and the others back. This is not only to let the little sable stay, but also the goal that Cang Nian set for himself. No. This is what he must do. When the little sable heard Cang Nian's task of guarding the meat strip, the depressed face of the little sable was slightly better. Squeak. Must bring them back. Cang Nian nodded heavily, and then ran wildly without looking back. Following the familiar smell of Tiger Mom and Tiger Brother, as well as the pungent smell of cigarettes on several people, Cang Nian was still able to find their traces even though they had been walking for several minutes. Hearing the creaking sound of several people's footsteps, Cang Nian slowed down his pace, kept his distance, and fell behind. After about half an hour, Cang Nian heard a sound of rushing water. At this time, he suddenly remembered that this direction was exactly the direction of the stream downstream in the open space. He looked out and saw that the stream merged into a wider river. There was a fishing boat more than 10 meters long on the shore. The poachers were loading Tiger Mom on the boat. Chapter 50 Iron Tiger 3 Major Items. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm just talking about how they drove the car in this deep mountain and old forest. It turned out to be water transport. Seeing this, Cang Nian suddenly realized, if you want to poach, the most important thing is not how to hunt wild animals, but how to transport them out, especially for a big guy like Tiger Dad, who doesn't have transportation tools like cars and boats. It would be tiring to rely on manpower to carry it. After a while, the group of people placed the Tiger Mother on the fishing boat, started the diesel engine, and left the shore suddenly. Fortunately, the fishing boat still sailed close to the shore where Cang Nian was, heading downstream. Seeing this, Cang Nian quickly followed, using the cover of the dense forest to keep a close distance from the fishing boat. Fortunately, the speed of the fishing boat is not very fast. Cang Nian can keep up with it at a speed slightly faster than the recent training run, which is only about 10 km per hour. Ding. Run 10,000 m, running skill proficiency +1. 21/100. Ding. Run 10,000 m, running skill proficiency +1. 22/100. As time goes by, the high sun gradually sets, and system notifications sound in Cang Nian's mind from time to time, and this also made him very tired. In the previous exercise, he actually didn't do it with all his strength. After all, he saved some energy, and when he was tired, he would stop and rest for a while before exercising again. But now, in order to save the Tiger Father and the others, he must follow the fishing boat closely. Otherwise, there will be no scent left on the water, and if you lose track of yourself, there will be almost no possibility of rescuing the Tiger Dad and the others. But just when Cang Nian's running skill proficiency reached level 25, the fishing boat suddenly turned. The fishing boat did not continue to sail downstream along the river, but towards the other side. Cang Nian ran up to a tree on the shore and looked at the other shore. He found that there seemed to be a simple small port there, but he couldn't see clearly. They are going to transfer to other means of transportation. No, I have to follow them. Seeing this, Cang Nian's heart sank, and without thinking, he plunged into the river. Fortunately, tigers are born with certain water qualities. Although it was the first time for Cang Nian to swim in the water, he could not swim fast, but he did not sink. Then, only his head stuck out of the water, and his limbs submerged under the water swayed back and forth, paddling forward in the simplest dog-pawing style that was most in line with the body structure of a four-legged creature. However, since he had no swimming experience at all in his previous life, his speed in the dog paddle was surprisingly slow. Damn! They are almost reaching the shore. If this continues, I will definitely lose them. Seeing this, Cang Nian was extremely anxious. Ding. Fu Shui 1M, Fu Shui skill proficiency +1. 1/100, but at this moment, a system prompt sounded in his mind, making the old man's eyes light up. That's right. I still have a system. As my proficiency increases, my swimming speed will become faster. This refreshed Cang Nian's energy, and his limbs paddled under the water even more vigorously. Seeing the poachers on the other side transporting the Tiger Father, Tiger Mother, and Tiger Brother, Cang Nian could only speed up as much as possible. Ding. Fu Shui 1M, Fu Shui skill proficiency +1. 100/100. Ding. Congratulations to the host, the proficiency of Fu Shui's skill has reached the full value, and this skill has evolved into paddling. Finally, as Cang Nian crossed the river and reached 100 meters, a system prompt sounded. What followed was that he instantly gained a more accurate understanding of swimming acceleration techniques, a better sense of force exertion, and a slight improvement in his limbs. And this fed back to his speed of crossing the river, which was a very obvious improvement. However, Cang Nian saw at this time that the last poacher had already left the fishing boat. Obviously, they have moved Tiger Dad and the others to another vehicle. Seeing this, Cang Nian swam even harder and finally crossed the last 200 meters in 3 minutes. Without taking any rest, he just shook the water from his hair with a sudden shake, and then he chased non-stop towards the only path with obvious trampling marks. Hurry up. I don't want to spend the night with a tiger. Come on, come on. Something is wrong with this broken car at the critical moment. Hey. It's done. As he ran all the way, Cang Nian heard the sound of talking becoming clearer and louder. I'm glad I caught up. The old man was panting, feeling his heart beating wildly and his lungs burning. He has never tried so hard and exhausted his energy all the time. If he hadn't practiced hard since he was born, he wouldn't have been able to last the 50 kilometers and the boat ride. Buzz. At this time, Cang Nian heard the roar of the car engine and hurriedly chased him out. I saw a small truck on the dirt road, heading north. Seeing this, Cang Nian ran to catch up regardless of the burning pain in his lungs. Fortunately for Cang Nian, the dirt road was not so smooth and the pickup truck could not move at a faster speed, but then, Cang Nian realized that he was happy too early. Within 2.5 minutes, the pickup truck turned around, lifted its front, and entered a rather wide asphalt road. Go back to town quickly. I made a lot of money today, so I need to have a good drink tonight. Seeing that he was finally on the road and could speed up the return journey, the poacher boss laughed, but at this moment, Cang Nian was extremely desperate. The limit of his speed is only 50 or 60 kilometers per hour at most, and this truck can run at least 70 or 80 kilometers per hour. How can he catch up with it? But even so, he still didn't give up, and ran as hard as he could, trying to get close to the small truck and jump on it. However, the absolute difference in speed made the distance between him and the truck grow larger and larger, and he could only watch it go farther and farther away. What should I do now? Fuck. I should have followed the team that transported Tiger Dad and sneaked onto the fishing boat first. Cang Nian regretted it at this moment, but he also knew that this was actually almost impossible. The fishing boat was so big that 2 adult tigers and 10 adult men were already packed full, and there was no place to hide. Didi. But at this moment, Cang Nian heard a whistle from behind. Turning his head, he saw a pickup truck coming towards him in the distance, in the same direction as the poacher's small truck. Because there was a sharp turn ahead, for safety reasons, the driver of the pickup truck would naturally honk. Seeing this, Cang Nian's eyes lit up. Then, he climbed up a tree on the side of the road without hesitation. At this moment, the pickup truck had a sharp turn ahead, so the speed dropped from 80 to 90 kilometers per hour to 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. Now, Cang Nian kicked his legs and flew out from the tree branch, landing accurately in the pickup truck's cargo box. Bang! There was an obvious collision sound, which almost made Cang Nian suffocate, but fortunately he was not seriously injured, but was just angry for a while. Pippi! Are you making trouble again? Be careful, Dad will go back and deal with you. At this time, a somewhat sloppy young male voice came from the cab of the pickup truck. Woo! Cang Nian took a break and stood up, but saw a pair of beautiful sapphire eyes looking at him curiously, and a wronged whimper came out of his mouth. This is a husky.